Hi, my name is Ron King, and this is a series of chats about situations in my life and how I've shown up for them. Sometimes gracefully, very oftentimes not. The format is a short conversation moderated by a woman named Libby Delana, who I just met, and I don't know her, she doesn't know me, and the chats are unscripted. She has had a number of conversations with some people close to me. She starts every episode with a question, and I don't know what that question is. My response is in real time. Her reaction is in real time. And we've recorded the conversation to share with you. When this project started, I wasn't sure what I was doing or why I was doing it. And in fact, I was very nervous about it. In the end, I realized it was incredibly therapeutic and helpful for me to say everything that I've said out loud, and to acknowledge sort of what I've been through and who I am as a result. If in turn it is helpful to anybody, then it's worth the time and it's worth sharing. So I hope you enjoy. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. Thank you.
Good
Hello.
morning. How are you?
Good, good. I have a huge cup of tea right here, so I'm really good. Okay, so I have a question for you. I was talking to Eric, and he relayed an absolutely beautiful story that I would love to hear you talk about, which was the first time you went to his house, that you showed up in his house. Do you remember that time?
Um, Not exactly. Tell me a little bit more about his version.
Yeah, so he described that he never paused for a moment having you come over to his house. He's a black man, you're a white man. You showed up at his house, and he shared with me that it may have been the first time a white man had come to their house. I think it was maybe his mom or his grandmother who
Yeah,
was there,
yeah,
and how beautifully um, how beautifully you all got along. I don't want to imply that there would be any reason for that not to happen. I
yeah,
only mention it because Eric was so profoundly grateful that it wasn't a thing. It
yeah.
didn't it, and the thing that was so generous about that was, in a way, the way you embraced that moment. Let's be honest, it probably shouldn't be a thing, or I shouldn't say it
Yeah.
shouldn't. Eh, but you made that moment really beautiful and loving, and
Yeah.
not anything other than that.
I remember, and I can talk about it. So, I think where the key part of this story is sort of my approach to life, which is I truly believe none of us are better than anyone else. Like, I see no difference between you and I. Well, it's not that I see no difference. I see no difference in the way we should be treated or the respect that we should be given or the love that we should be given because we're different sexes, or between Eric and I because we're different races, or because or from some of my workers and I because we come from different backgrounds. Like, I don't there is nothing in my fiber that thinks I am better than anybody. And that is just who I am. It is not something I think about. So when I walk into situations, I never. It's like I see people. I see you inside. So I have to like stop and really think about. Oh, look at Libby. Look how different we are. Oh, she's a female. Oh, she has long hair. Like, oh, she has boobs. Like, I don't see those things when I see you. What I see is is who you are, not what you are. And so anytime I meet anybody, what I'm meeting is who they are.
Right.
And so if you are an asshole, I will discriminate against you very quickly. But it has nothing to do with your sex or sexuality or color or race. So I don't know how to explain how I got there, but that's why. So I walked into that situation. Sure, like there were several things I think we were up against. Eric had a girlfriend for a long time, so and she was black. So he went from a black girlfriend to a white boyfriend and didn't tell anybody. And so
Right.
I do remember
Right.
the first time he asked me to come meet his mom, who was dying of cancer, and his brother and his niece and nephew. Um, I was like, of course, love to meet your family. So we show up, and at the door, he said, "Oh, I haven't come out to my family yet."
Right. That's
And
right.
I was like, "Wait, what? What? Wait." So, and he acknowledged that his mom was a racist. Now, I actually don't think she was, but that part of this story is that he acknowledged to me my mom is racist against white people. So I was like, "Wait, wait, 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 wait. Know that you're gay. They don't know who I am, and they don't like white people. And we're gonna just walk in here." And he was like, "Yeah." And I thought, "Oh, poor Eric." So we walked in, and what am I gonna do? Like, I'm just gonna
Right.
show up the way I'd show up. So, um, I think that one of the things that you and I originally started talking about was that I show up in such an authentic way. So I am kind of who I am, and I don't bullshit people, and I don't like throw out flattery that I don't mean. Um, I don't throw out what they call niceties. Like, if I think you look nice today, I'll say you look nice today. I would never say you look nice today if I don't think it. So like that realness, people find very refreshing. So his mom and I connected very quickly because I was very real with her. And maybe it was through, I think I made a couple jokes that made her laugh. Uh, Maybe I acknowledged, our physical differences. I don't really remember. Um, but when I decided to show her, knowing that she wasn't going to be around for very long, was that I loved her son, and that her son had found love that was true and genuine. Um, and I know she loved him. That was very obvious. And I thought, if she dies, knowing that her son is experiencing love and as his true self, I can't imagine any way for a mother to be happier on her way out. So that's what we did, and we became fast friends. Um, and she had a big hospital bed in the house, and you know, very quickly, I would be on one side of her, and Eric would be on the other side of her. We'd be watching TV, um, and I was never hid who I was, um, and she loved me for it. So she died probably less than a year after I met her. Um, and we had lots of conversations about love and about sexuality and about race, and we had lots of laughs and lots of cries, and I really worked hard to help Eric show up fully for his mom in her final days, and we were all there when she took her last breath. So uh, it was very special. But yes, he threw me into the wolves den with no preparation, um, and I flourished, and it's just because I was just truthful. Um, so
I would say that's the core of, when you say you Ron King that shit, that I would say at the core of what that is, showing up with truth and integrity and, ambition and motivation and care. So, I would say a lot of people could use a splash of that in their life. And when I heard that story, I thought, "Oh my gosh, that's a really gentle, loving understanding of Ron King that shit," right? It's sort of easy
yeah,
to understand the other component of, getting to where you did with your career. I mean, it's not
yeah,
easy to understand it, but
yeah, yeah,
when you hear Ron King that shit, it's like, oh, career pops into your mind. What I didn't know was about being a parent, about loving his mother. And so I think what that does is it just makes Ron King that shit really beautifully complete. It's not just about getting shit done in your career, I
right.
guess.
That's right.
Yeah.
So did he acknowledge that he didn't tell anybody about me before he walked into that house? Okay. Just wondered if we were telling the same story.
Yes. Yeah, it's clear your relationship is still very really loving and important to each other, and he when he retold that story, it was with such honor and such respect for the grace that you had as you entered that space, because that is a challenging scenario, and he totally saw you in that moment and saw kind of the situation he had, put you both in, and how, and then again told that story of, her taking her last breaths with you there. And to me, that's Ron
Yeah,
King, that shit. And
yeah,
yeah, he was incredibly generous about your impact on, honestly, his mother's love for him, right? It enabled her to love him fully.
right, right.
So, I think at the heart of Ron King, that shit is a whole lot of love.
Yeah. Well, speaking of impact, I actually wanted to ask you something. So I think there's a lot of things that we could acknowledge are difficult. So life can be difficult,
Mhm.
full of ups and downs and very challenging moments. The act of active meditation can be difficult. COVID was very difficult. Um, and the act of exercise and living a healthy lifestyle can be difficult. So all these areas that can be very difficult, you have managed to sort of create a moment that you are sharing with people that combines all of those things: dealing with life, dealing with COVID, being healthy and active, meditation, intentional behavior, and in a almost overly simplistic and obtainable way, talked about your path in those areas. And I'd like to hear a little bit about that, because all we've done for 4 weeks is talk about me. But you're up to something pretty special. I'd like to hear some more about it.
Oh, aren't you nice? Well, this is your show, so I'll be very brief.
Okay.
Thank you. I think what you're referring to is about a decade ago. I realized that my career in my life had created kind of this vibrancy throughout the day, which meant I was indoors a lot on conference calls, yada yada yada. And what I realized, I paused for a moment, and I realized that the place where I am happiest is outdoors. Um, it just is where I think I'm most fully who I am. So I started, as you said, a radically simple practice of going for a walk every morning. And I've done it every single day for the last 10 years. And it was about a year ago, I just kind of quickly did the math and realized I'd walked the circumference of the earth, which is about 25,000 miles, which quite honestly, in and of itself, is the mileage isn't important. There's probably plenty of people who run marathons that have done that. I guess the only reason it was sort of interesting was the idea of this sort of radically simple thing of put on a pair of shoes, head out your back door, and it is a moving meditation for me. It's not about how fast or how far I go. And In my career, I'm an art director. It also taught me how to really see, not just look. So I'd often walk the same loop. I'd go past the same barn, and every single day it's different. So it was kind of that meditative quality of every time you come to the mat or you sit or you practice, every single day is different. Um, and the natural world will teach us that, right? So for me, that has been my key to unlocking all those ups and downs of life, because it is the natural world does that every single day. High tides, low tides, sun, winters. So thank you for asking. Yeah, I
I
just
think I think it's great. I think that my favorite part about all of that is how obtainable it is. So you have a path to practicing serenity and meditation, um, that doesn't involve, a retreat in the Santa Barbara Mountains or meeting a guru. It involves lacing up a pair of shoes, and being consistent, and literally, I mean, quite literally, putting one foot in front of the other.
it's
Um,
literally
and I think it's very cool.
well.
So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I think the big message is each walk is like a little metaphor for life. The other day I went out for a walk, I turned around and there was a stinking headwind, sharp, biting, angry, nasty. And I literally, like, for the last few miles was practically in tears. "I don't wanna do this anymore. I just wanna be home." And to your point, one step, yeah, all you can do is say, "Well, just relax, one step after another, one foot in front of the other. Your path is right there." And, yeah, well, thank you for asking, and,
Of course.
go have a walk. I will say, never has there been a walk that hasn't, this is cheap language, but every walk is amazing. I feel better after every walk, and that's pretty powerful because, as you
Yeah,
point out, it's super simple. Well, thank you
yeah,
for asking.
of course. Of
Yeah,
course. Talk to you soon.
okay,
Bye.
bye.